to today's class. For today, no props are explicitly needed, but if there are ones that you'd like to practice with, like blocks or blankets, please go ahead and grab those and have those nearby as you need. Otherwise, whenever you're ready, go ahead and meet me on your mat, seated on your shins. So when you come into this seated position, if you have any restrictions in the ankles or the hips, or that's just a little uncomfortable, go ahead and grab whatever props you have for class today. You can go ahead and sink it underneath your sit bones, maybe underneath your ankles. You want light support from a blanket. Grab whatever you need to find a little bit of ease coming into practice today. Whether it's a prop or your heels, settle the sit bones. Find a long, tall spine. Just find your breath. Slowing and deepening the inhales and exhales. Settling the energy, settling the mind. Getting everything pulled in together, prepared for class. Feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze. As you tune into yourself, check in with yourself. Just kind of assess where you're starting from. And take one cleansing breath together. On your next inhale, seal the lips. Start to deepen that breath, filling the lungs all the way from the base to the collarbones. Pause at the top, then open mouth, exhale. On your next inhale, you can blink the eyes open, start to sweep the arms overhead, reaching the fingertips long, reaching towards the sky, finding length in the side body. Then exhale, hands to heart center. As the hands fall down to the heart, start to lace the fingers, palms towards the chest. Deep inhale into the palms. And then exhale, flip the thumbs down and away from you. Press the hands away, rounding the shoulder blades alongside the ribs. Finding the space from the upper back. Inhale, reach the palms up and towards the sky. Finding length, keeping that length. Maybe expanding the chest forward, pushing the chest forward. Exhale, round the upper back. Pushing the palms away, finding that space. Maybe a gentle tuck of the chin. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, round. Inhale, expand. Exhale, round. Inhale, keep that reach, reaching the palms towards the sky, pressing the arms up and away from you. Then exhale, start to cactus the arms, driving the elbows down alongside the body, opening the chest, pressing the backs of the hands back behind you to find a little bit more space. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, drive the elbows down, open the chest, maybe lift the gaze. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, open. And inhale, bring all that in together. Hands come back to heart center. And exhale, settle. Reach the fingertips back behind the tips of the toes. And then press through the fingertips, press through the hips, opening the front side of the body, opening the shoulders, the chest, the hips. Maybe letting the head drop back just a little bit behind you. Lifting the gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, lower down. All the way back to that starting position. If you had any kind of prop underneath you, you can take that out. Unless you're keeping that support for your ankles, that's just fine. Press the hips up, coming to a tall kneel. Hips forward, little engagement of the glutes. Spine is long. Bring the hands to heart center. The right arm is going to sweep up and overhead. Start to press the hips forward just a little bit more, engaging the back side of the body to find that opening as the right arm sweeps back behind you, coming towards the right heel. And start to sweep the left arm up and overhead, opening the left side of the chest, coming into a full camel. Keeping that engagement within the back side of the body, keeping the hips pressed forward, chest expanded, nice and wide. Then start to sweep the right arm up and overhead back towards the chest. Then keep the hips strong. Sweep the left arm up and over, pulling the body up to that tall kneel. We'll go through that twice more. So from this tall kneeling position, let's reverse the movement. Sweep the left arm up and overhead. Start to press the hips forward. Nice and slow as the left hand reaches back towards the heel. Right arm sweeps up and behind. Open the right side of the chest. Keeping the chest lifted towards the sky. Keeping that lift to protect the low back. Sweep the left arm up and towards the chest. Glutes engage a little bit stronger. Lifting the hips forward as the right hand sweeps up and over to meet the left. Right arm sweeps back. Pressing the hips, reaching back, expanding the front body. Left arm sweeps back behind, opening the chest. Right arm forward and in. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips as the left hand sweeps up and over. Reversing that movement once more. Left arm sweeps back. Opening the left shoulder. Right arm sweeps back, opening the entirety of the chest. The left arm sweeps to the heart center. Squeeze the glutes, right hand comes together. Once more each side. Find a little bit more rhythm, a little bit more engagement, more expansion. Press the hips forward, right arm reaches back. Keep that lift, left arm comes back. Right arm comes forward. Find that squeeze, left arm comes forward, hands come together. Left arm back, right arm back. Left hand forward, right hand forward. And then from here, feel free to adjust your stance in any way that you need. We're going to do a few trust falls from this position. So still engaging the back body, keeping the entirety of the torso nice and strong. You can have your arms across your chest. You can have your arms forward to have that counter movement here. We're going to do this three different times. So pressing through the shins, tops of the feet are on the mat. Engagement of the glutes, the hips are pressed forward, your spine is tall. Arms reach forward. And then start to lean everything back. All in line, finding that angle, keeping the core strong, gaze forward. Feel the thighs turn on. And then come back. Up. Inhale, sink back behind you. Keeping the arms reaching forward, maybe go a little bit deeper. Exhale, come back up. Inhale, lower nice and slow. And hold for 5, 4, keep those glutes turned on, pressing the hips forward, 3, 2, and 1, lift up. Go ahead and allow the hands to come down towards the mat. Step the right foot back, the left foot back. Through high plank, press back, downward facing dog. Find a little length within the back side of the body. After you found all that engagement, feel free to shift through your downward facing dog. Work out any of the kinks, any of the tightness. Just find some mobility here, pedaling the feet back and forth. Maybe twisting the heels towards the right or the left. Or maybe finding some mobility in the low back. Anything to get you into that settled downward facing dog within the next breath or two. Once you find your center, go ahead, inhale, lift the right leg back behind you. And then exhale, drive the right knee towards the right elbow as the right foot comes outside the right hand. Find that nice, long body from through the spine, through the legs, reaching the left heel back behind you, feeling the space within the front of the left hip. And then sink low, find a little bit more space in the right. Keeping that length, let the left knee come towards the mat, and let the hips sink a little bit lower. Maybe rocking the right knee out and in, and a little bit more into the hip here. But keeping the spine long, keeping the left hip bone pulling up and forward to keep that length in the front of the thigh. And then keeping the left hand planted, sweep the left arm up and overhead, opening the chest towards the right side of the room. Staying mindful in that left hip, keeping the length, feeling the stretch, the tension within the left side, the front of the left hip. Then reach the right arm up and overhead just for a moment. And then drive the right elbow back behind you towards the right hip, opening the chest, practicing the arm. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, drive, opening the chest just a little bit more. Inhale, right arm overhead, and sweep it down back towards the mat. Pressing through the hands, lifting the back knee. Then exhale, pressing everything back behind you, extended pyramid pose. So straightening the right knee. Driving the right hip back, pulling the left hip forward just a little bit more. Keeping the spine long. Find a little bit more space within the hips. Rebend the right knee. Left hand comes outside, left foot comes outside left hand. Inhale, active squat. Sink the hips low. Exhale, press through the soles of the feet. Legs come to straight, hands come to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, pressing the glutes, the hips forward. Exhale, sit back into active squat. Inhale, hands come to the mat, elbows stay bent, stepping the right foot back, the left foot back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Moving on to the left side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, driving the left knee, left elbow, as the foot comes outside the left hand. If you want to find a little bit more space, if you have blocks, you can always put that underneath your hands to help you work your way into this pose. If hanging out on the palms of the hands is too uncomfortable, or the fingertips, that makes it a little bit more difficult to find space, go ahead and grab your blocks if you have those nearby. Keeping the length within the back of the back right leg, and staying open in the left hip. Drop the right knee towards the mat. Keeping that space, maybe open and close the left knee. Exploring your mobility here, see where you're at. Maybe rocking front and back just a little bit. Over the back toes. Whatever you need to settle in to explore your space. Bring the right hand just underneath you a little bit to find that support. Open the left arm up towards the sky, opening the chest towards the left side of the room. Staying lifted within the right arm, pressing through the heel of the hand. to keep the chest lifted, keeping that space underneath the right side body. And then inhale, reaching the left arm up and overhead just a little bit, turning the chest towards the left side of the room a little bit more. And exhale, drive the left elbow back behind the left hip, open the chest a little bit more. Spinning the chest open, driving the right rib cage down, left rib cage back behind you. Inhale, arm up overhead. Exhale, drive the elbow, opening the torso a little bit more, twisting a little bit deeper. Inhale, left arm reaches up and overhead, circling back down towards the mat. Pressing through both hands, lifting the back knee, straighten the front knee, pressing back, extended pyramid pose. Continuing to reach the crown of the head beyond the front edge of the mat, pressing the left hip back, right hip forward. Finding a little bit more space within the back sides of the legs. Keep checking with the hips, keep making those adjustments, that little twist within the hips, the pelvis, to find that alignment. Rebend the left knee, right foot comes outside right hand. Sink the hips low, active squat. Exhale, press through the soles of the feet, hands come through heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, stretch the body long and open in front. Exhale, sit back down, sit back into active squat. Hands plant, elbows bend, stepping the left foot back, the right foot back, and press back, downward facing dog. We're going to transition into Surya Beat, Awakening Yoga Surya Beat. So if you have been using blocks to step through to make that a little bit easier on your body, go ahead and grab those now. Otherwise, from downward facing dog, take a moment to settle in, take that breath to sink into your center. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, driving the right knee towards the right collarbone, driving, pressing away, giving your body some space to bring the right toe to the right thumb, foot between the hands. Drop the back knee to hover just above the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up, double bent leg lunge. Staying strong in the legs. And exhale, press your back knee towards the direction of straight, keeping the hips low. Then inhale, start to shift your weight forward, reaching the fingertips beyond the front of the edge of the mat. Pressing through the back toe, shifting the weight into the right foot, driving the toes back behind you until it's ready to lift, crouching warrior. Exhale, pressing the right knee to straight. Inhale, rebending the right knee, reaching the left toes back behind you, reach, reach, reach until they come down towards the earth. Inhale, Crescent Lunge. Exhale, bring the thumbs together, base of the skull. Inhale, reach the fingertips back behind you, find a little bit more space within the chest. And then exhale, hands come down to the earth. Bringing the right foot back behind you, three-legged dog. Inhale, pull your body through, upward facing dog. Then exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Moving on to the other side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, driving the left knee in towards the left collarbone. Find that compression to pull the left foot between the hands. Left big toe to left thumb. Drop the back knee, bending to hover just above the mat. And inhale, the arms up overhead, double bent leg lunge. Sinking the hips low, keeping everything just to hover above the mat, committing to that front knee. Then drive the right knee to straight back behind you. Then reaching the fingertips long, hinging at the hips. Pressing through the back toes, shifting the weight into the front foot. Back leg lifts, crouching warrior. Exhale, press your left knee to straight. Inhale, rebend the left knee, reaching the right toes back behind you. Inhale, arms up overhead, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come together, thumbs at the base of the skull. Inhale, reach the arms up and back behind you. Find a little bit more space from the front body. Keeping the right hip pulling forward. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Bringing the left foot up and back, three-legged dog. Inhale, pull through, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, transition through the same sequence, one more time each side. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, driving the right knee towards the right collarbone, pressing through the heel of the hand to find that space to bring the right foot between the hands. Bend the left knee, hovering up above the mat. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, drive your left knee towards the direction of straight, keeping the fingertips reaching long, pulling the hips forward. Inhale, pressing through the back toes, shifting away into the front foot. Left leg lifts. Right knee stays bent, crouching warrior. Exhale, press through the right foot, straighten the right knee. Inhale, rebend the right knee. Reach the left toes back behind you. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come together, thumbs base of the skull. Keeping the hips pulling forward. Reach the fingertips back behind you, expanding the chest, the front body, the torso. Exhale, hands come down to the blocks, the mat. Pull the right foot back behind you, three-legged dog. Inhale, pull through, upward facing dog. Then exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, driving the left knee towards the collarbone. Give your body some space, press through the earth. Foot lands between the hands. Drop the back knee to hover. Inhale, double bed leg lunge. Keeping the inner thighs hugging in towards the midline. Exhale, drive the right knee back behind you, pushing it towards the direction of straight. Inhale, reaching the fingertips out in front, giving you that counterbalance. Bending into the right knee, the left knee as the right leg lifts back behind you. Exhale, drive the left knee towards straight, warrior three. Inhale, rebend the left knee, right toes reach back behind you, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come together, thumbs base of the skull. Inhale, reach the fingertips back, try to expand the chest a little bit more, pulling the hip bones forward. Then exhale, hands to the earth. Left foot reaches back behind you. Inhale, pull through, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Few variations coming up into the next flow, finding a little bit more twist within the torso, similar movements. Just take a moment here, maybe pedal at the feet, shift the hips, find length in the side bodies. And on the next breath, you settle into your downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, drive the right knee towards the right collarbone to bring the foot in between the hands. Bend the back knee. Then inhale, bring the arms out in front of you. Pulling the left hip bone up to face forward, thinking of those headlights to keep them up towards the road. Committing to both knees, sinking low into the hips. Arms reach out in front of you. And then keeping the left fingertips reaching long, start to trace the left arm at the right fingertips, across the collarbones, across the chest, as the right hand then reaches back behind you, finding that twist. Twisting or rotating the collarbones towards the right side of the room. Reaching the fingertips long. Reaching the right hand back behind you. the left arm forward, spinning through the center for 3, 2, 1. Keeping that twist. Drive the left knee towards the earth. A little bit more, straightening the left knee. And then reach the right fingertips towards the back of the left leg. And then lift the left arm up overhead. Reversing, like a reverse twisted warrior pose. Then reach the left fingertips long, pinwheeling back towards the front of the room, right arm lifts. Then press through the right foot, straightening the right leg. So you should have your legs in a triangle pose. Then the hips, the torso, the collarbones are twisted towards the right, sorry. And then start to, keeping the arms long, start to twist towards the earth. So right fingertips are reaching towards the sky, left fingertips are reaching towards the mat. If you have a block here, that could be helpful to find that support in that twist, to keep the body lifted. Really wringing out between the thighs, through that center, reaching the fingertips long, keeping as much space as you can in this more closed off position. From here, bend into that right leg just a little bit. And as we did before, push through the back toes. As you shift the weight into that right foot, keeping the right knee bent, lift the left leg. Make any adjustments you need in where the block is. If you don't have the block, you can just bend into that right knee just a little bit more, coming onto the fingertips, or maybe even the fists. Might find a little bit more of a challenge to keep your body open if you have a little bit more restrictions in the hips and the torso and any part of your body. Try to find as much space as you can. And then unravel. Right hand comes to the earth, left hand comes to the earth. Back leg falls to the mat, toes tucked. And then bring the right foot back behind you, three-legged dog. Inhale, pull through, upward facing dog. Then exhale, downward facing dog. Moving on to that left side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, driving the left knee towards the left collarbones as the foot comes between the hands. Drop your back knee to hover. And then inhale, reach the torso up tall. Hands come out in front of you. Or making that little bit of a ring. Driving the left foot, the left hip back behind you, right hip forward. Then ringing out towards your center to engage everything in towards one another. And then start to trace the left fingertips alongside the right arm across the chest, opening the body towards the left side of the room. Committing to that bend in the knees, that buoyancy there, that support. Reaching the left fingertips long back behind you, right fingertips long in front. Keeping the collarbones nice and wide for 3, 2, 1. And start to press through the right heel. Straighten, bringing that right leg towards the direction of straight. Left fingertips come to the back of the right thigh. Right fingertips reach up and overhead. Open the chest towards the sky. Finding the space in the front of the right hip. Try to stay lifted the right fingertips. Try to stay committed to the front knee. Keeping that bend. Finding space where challenge increases, where restrictions increase. And then start to pinwheel the right fingertips back towards the front of the room. Left arm back. Straighten through the left leg as you continue that transition down towards the earth. Right hand comes down to the mat. Left arm comes up. Pressing the left hip back in space, continuing that effort there. Pulling the right hip forward. Staying lifted within the side bodies, keeping that energy strong within the right hand. And its connection either to the blocks, to the mat. And then keeping the right heel aiming towards the mat, towards the space back behind you. Keeping that twist. Maybe adjust the blocks as you need as you start to shift your weight, bending the knee, bending into the left knee, coming up onto the right toe, shifting the weight into that front leg. Right leg lifts. Keeping that block underneath the right hand if you have one. If not, just keep that lift, lifting through the left hand. Keeping the chest open. Keeping that twist for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the left hand down to the earth. Readjust that right block underneath the right hand if you have it. Reach the back toes long. And then sweep the left leg back behind you. Inhale, pull through, upward facing dog. Then exhale, downward facing dog. Settle here for just a moment. Awesome job. The legs worked hard for you. You worked hard for you. And now is your moment to settle. Knowing that a majority of the effort, the strength, the focus, although keeping the focus on the rest of your flow, just know that you're starting to wind down. On your next breath, take a 10-count journey to the top of your mat, walking the feet towards the hands for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Once your feet come towards your hands, just allow your upper body, your torso, your head, your arms to hang heavy. Let go of any tension that you're holding in those spaces. Then on your next inhale, press through the soles of the feet, keep a generous bend in the knees, and start to unravel the spine. Nice and slow, coming to standing. And then once you come to standing, start to reverse that movement and just start to fold, sinking into the knees, let the hips hinge, and then slowly ravel back down. We're going to come into circle chair for 5 breaths. So if this is your first time exploring this movement, you're just flowing through a forward fold in a standing position in whatever capacity feels good for you and your body. So maybe finding some side bend and lifting up towards the side, falling down towards center, and coming out towards the right at any movement that you need. But it's flowy, it's unrestricted, and it's anything you need or want it to be. So coming down, finding a compression, letting everything sink together, then unraveling up, let everything unfold. 2 more breaths to explore your space, to wind down, to unwind. It's like every time you come down into that fold, you're coming into some capacity of ragdoll, letting everything just relax. Allow gravity to take hold. Now your last exhale, forward fold all the way down. On the exhale, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, keeping a soft bend in the knees. Unhinging at the hips, finding a little bit more engagement as the fingertips reach up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Right fingertips, right pointer finger and thumb grab hold of the left wrist, reaching up and over towards the right side of the room. And then curtsying the left leg behind the right, finding space within the side body. finding an anchor in the left hip, and then reaching and pulling all the way through to the left fingertips. Inhale back towards center. And then go ahead and reverse the movement. Left fingertips grab hold of the right wrist, reaching up and over as the right leg is curtsy behind the left. Anchoring down and reaching through. Come back towards center, inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Once you find your fingertips towards the mat, go ahead and plant the hands, step the feet back, one at a time, and lower all the way down. All in one piece, belly to the mat. Untuck the toes, tops of the feet come to the mat. And then palms alongside the body, arms alongside the body, palms towards the earth. Two last moments of effort. We're going to take locust pose. Really get great postural strengthener. Engaging the upper back, the mid back, all the muscles along the spine, the glutes, the backs of the legs. Everything is strong and supported. Go ahead and take one breath for yourself. And on the next inhale, you're going to reach the backs of the hands behind you, lifting the chest, lifting the head, then lifting the legs, engaging the glutes, reaching the heels towards the side, and pointing the toes long. So not only are you lifting up, but you're finding length, reaching the fingertips long, the toes long, but also reaching the crown of the head towards the front of your mat. Shoulder blades driving back down the body. Engaging the glutes a little bit more, lifting the legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower down. Great job. One more moment of effort here. Finding length, finding strength. One breath for yourself. And then on your next inhale, everything lifts up off the ground. Engage the back body all together. Fingertips reach, toes reach, crown of the head reaches long. Gaze towards the mat and lift. Pulling the shoulder blades back towards one another and down the back body. Glutes squeeze to raise the legs a little bit higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower down. Arms come into a capital T. Give your body a moment to settle in heavy into the mat. We're going to find a gentle twist. So in whatever capacity this is accessible for you. Keep the right leg anchored down. The left leg, you can either bend the knee with the goal of reaching the left toe tips to the right fingertips, so opening nice and deep in this capacity. But if that's something that's not accessible for you today, keep the left leg long and just spin the left leg over the right, keeping the left leg straight, just twisting the hips towards the left side of the room. Arms stay in that capital T position. Or maybe find something that's in between, whatever feels good for you. Just know that those two movements are accessible to you today. Three more breaths here, so make any micro adjustments. You can start from the beginning and retwist, whatever feels good for you.
Keep the core strong, driving the left knee back towards the earth, rolling back onto the belly, and switching sides. So coming on to the left side is your anchor, the right side is one that's moving. If you need any modifications, know that you can keep the right leg straight and just roll the right leg over the left to find that spin of the hips open towards the right. If you want to make the movement a little bit deeper, a little bit bigger, bend the right knee, drive reaching the right toes towards the left fingertips. If you do have your knee bent, reaching towards the left hand, try driving the outside edge of the right knee towards the sky, or towards the space behind you, I should say, to find a little bit more opening. Just see how that feels. It's just exploring space a little bit differently. Engage the tummy, and then drive the right knee back in towards the earth, coming onto the belly fully. Hands come under shoulders and press back into child's pose. You can widen your knees, big toes to touch. And sink low, hips to heels, reaching the fingertips long. And then just relax everything into one another, into the earth, into the mat. You want to be a little bit more closed off. Bring the knees, the thighs together to touch. Forehead to the mat. And then arms rest alongside the body. Finding a little bit smaller, more condensed shape. Allowing your upper body to relax over the thighs. Just a moment to allow gravity to work with your body a little bit more so here, a little less effort. Breathing into all aspects of the rib cage. Filling in the space within the side bodies, along the spine, and filling up all the way to the collarbones. Just allowing your body to feel heavier and heavier as you settle into the shape. Feel free to stay in this position for as long as you need, or transition to Shavasana for your final rest. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a great day.